Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we will learn how to use the Groq API and understand the key roles in prompt engineering, system, user and assistant. First, I'm going to make import statement from Groq, import Groq from getPass, import getPass. So Groq is the main class we need to connect to the Groq API, and getPass we will use to save our API keys. Now I'm going to define Groq underscore API, and then I will use this function getPass from this getPass, and here you have to pass your API keys. You can get it for free from this Groq API. You can come on this console.groq.com, go to API keys, and you can click on this create API key and you can create it for free. I already have it, so I'm not going to create it now, but you can create it for free. And then I'll go back to documents here, and here you will see there's option of model. From here I'm going to choose one of the model, but before that I'm going to define a variable client. So first I will write here client, and then I will call this Groq class. Inside this I have to pass API keys, and this is stored in Groq underscore API. Now the client will send our request to the model. Now let's define the list of messages. First I'm going to execute this code, and now we are going to define the list of messages. I'm going to make one variable role underscore example, and since this is going to be a list of messages, I will make a list here, press enter, and inside this list I'm going to create two dictionaries. So one will be for system and the second one will be for user. Let me define that. This is my first dictionary here, and here my key will be role, and role will be system. So first I'm going to define this system role, and then also here I'm going to define content, and in content I will give the instruction to the system. I will say you are a helpful AI assistant, and then I'll put a comma here. I'll define next dictionary, and now the role will be a user here because we have already defined system, and I will also pass content here. Content will be let's say what I'm going to ask to the system. I'll ask explain the difference between system, user and assistant prompt. Now these are the two roles that I have defined here. The system message sets the overall behavior or instructions for the AI. It tells the AI to be a helpful assistant. In our case, here you see you are a helpful AI assistant. The user message is the actual input or question you provide, and here I'm providing the question, explain the difference between system, user and assistant prompt. Now the assistant role is not included manually in this input messages because it represents the AI's response, which the Groq API generates for us based on the system and user messages. So whatever answer we will get, that will be assistant role. So the assistant message is the output of the API call, not something you provide as input. I'll print this, so I'll copy this from here and then I'll paste it here and print this. So we have defined this role for system and assistant. Now I'm going to define response. For that I'm going to make a variable response, and then I will call this client that we have defined above. From this I will call chat, and from chat I will call completions, and from completions I will call create this function. And inside this there are certain parameters that we have to pass, and I'm going to explain these parameters one by one. Now the first parameter is the model that we want to use. So here I'm going to use the model. If you come on this Groq cloud page, you have to click on this document section and then go on this model, and I'm going to use llama 3.18 billion instant. I'll click here to copy it, and then I'll come back to this page and paste it here. This is the model that I'm going to use. The second parameter is messages. Messages we have defined here, so I will pass this role example. Then max completion tokens, and this, let's say I will write here 150, the number of tokens, and then temperature is equal to, let's say, 0.6. So this will define the creativity of this model, whether you want the model to be more creative. So this value lies between 0 and 1. A value towards 1 is more creativity, and a value towards 0 will be the model will give you stable response. Now finally we print the assistant's reply here. So first let me execute this code, and now I'm going to write a print statement. So I will write here print. Now in this I will write prompt roles explanation. So this is just the statement, and then I will call this response, because we have stored response here. And from this let me first print this response. So you will see response like this, but let me make it more clear for you. So I am going to just take the message at index 0 dot messages or message dot content, and now let me print it. Okay, chat completion object is not subscriptable. Here I have forgot one function, choices, and let us execute it again. Here is the output you see. So this prints the content generated by the assistant, which explains the difference between system, user, and assistant prompt. So here you see, in the context of conversational AI, a prompt can be broadly categorized into three types: system prompt, user prompt, and assistant prompt. Here's a breakdown of each. System prompt. A system prompt is a query or statement that is generated by the AI system itself. It is usually to ask for clarification or more information to better understand the user's intent and so on. Then there is system prompts are typically used to manage conversation flow, provide additional context, or seek user input and so on. So this is the output generated from this response here. Now to summarize, the assistant role is the AI's generated response that comes back when you send system and user message that we have defined here. You don't write assistant message yourself, the AI creates them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like my video, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.